we can just see him through there. I'm going to see if I can get you a better view. Come with me. Now with lion, it's vital that they don't see you. If he sees you, he's going to run away. Through the gap there is just the back of the head of a male lion. He is absolutely unaware that we are here right now. We're about 100 yards or so away from him. And he's facing away from us, with the wind direction blowing across us both, so he can't smell us. And as long as we're careful, he won't be able to hear us either. Isn't this exciting? African lions on foot in the middle of Djuma in the Kruger Park. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, are you crazy? Are you on foot? We're so close to these lions, or they're not going to jump up and immediately gobble us all down. The simple fact is that lions are much more afraid of us than what we should be of them, at least anyway. And quite often, if you give them a fright or you stumble across them, they'll just get up and run away, in quite a frenzied panic sometimes as well. Now, what we don't want to do is disturb these animals. I'm not here to make these animals run at us and feel like they're threatened. I, in particular, don't want this male to feel like he has to defend the female amber eyes against us, because that is a recipe for a disaster. So what we're going to do, I'm quickly going to call in James. He's also been looking for these lions. We're going to call in James and see if we can put you right next to those cats in a vehicle. They're much less afraid of people in a car. I'm just going to get the game drive radio quickly. I think if you come here, Genre, and we go down a little bit, you'll get his face through there. James, come in for Steph. James, we are directly west of the pumped pan at Vuyatela. You should be able to get us visual from the road.
Okay, copy. I'm just north of the dam.
Oh yes, excuse me, that west, the north of the dam. Oops, got my directions a little bit wrong. James should be able to find us. Using landmarks like roads, prominent bends, pans. We're not too far away from Vuyatela camp right now. Probably about 250, 300 meters, only 300 yards. And he's still facing away from us. It's typical of a male lion. Facing away from us, looking where he's going. It's just such arrogance in these male lions, and I love it. It's what makes them male lions. Like I said, we're not going to get closer. That's not the aim of what we do. We've tracked these animals using Aubrey's skill, years of intuition. And we've now seen him before he's seen us, and this is just perfect. The wind direction is still in our favor. And believe me, at this distance, if the wind direction wasn't, he would have smelt us a long time ago. Now, I think we've got James coming quite close to us now. So, let me just see if we can see him without creating too much movement here. Go, James.
Have you got us good here?
We can see you. You've gone past us, James. Come back again to basically, if you directly north of the pan, or the pumped pan, just come into the block from there. I'll come fetch you. So now we just got James.
West of Road. East of Road.
East of Mvubu, east of Mvubu. All right, what we're going to do is just
Coming
get
into the
James
block
in
now?
here, and we're going to send you over to Jamie, and we'll swap over as soon as we've sorted out this radio mess. See you in a bit.
Well, everybody, the interaction is that Steph and Aubrey and Jean-Dre removed themselves from the situation, and we came in, which of course is how it should work. It's just beautiful when it works out like that. They tracked them on foot, you had a brief glimpse of them, and then we came in to sit with them in the vehicle. They have now, of course, as you've come to us, gone to sleep. Amber Eyes, which you can't see, of course, because her eyes are indeed shut. That's her there, and that is Mfumo, he who is authoritative over the maggots that attacked his nose. There he is over there. Now, I know Brent was having a little bit of trouble identifying the other males yesterday. I don't blame him in the slightest, I must confess. Were I to see the other two that we don't see very often, I would really struggle to identify them, I fear. And now they are sleeping. And I think it's quite interesting. Amber Eyes does not seem to be pregnant yet. She's obviously still in the state of mating. She's been like this, though, now, I think, for about 3 months. She's been in and out of sort of proto-estrus, if you like, and this lion has been following her continuously for that period. And for some reason she has not conceived. Now that may well have been wise from a physiological point of view. I don't think she's done it intentionally, given the lack of nutrients that the rest of the cubs have got because of that white mussel disease and the drought. But maybe she will conceive now, and that will be ideal for us, of course, because we go into that 8-week TV series come the beginning of January. And it would be very nice, of course, if we had little cubs for that. So maybe she just wants her cubs to start their lives very famous. There she is. And look, we're not going to spend too long here. Of course, we spend an enormous amount of time with the cats. And we didn't find any tracks of Karula, and I'd still like to go and have a look at them. We've still got a good deal of time left in the drive. So we'll spend a little bit of time with these chaps, I think probably about 10 minutes or so, and just see if they don't mate, if they show signs of mating. And the reason we want to do that is not because we want to be indiscreet or voyeuristic at all. It's because we want to be able to see if when they do couple, when they do mate, is it a successful mating? Does she make that growling noise as he dismounts and then roll over on her back, which would indicate some kind of success? Or is it, like we've seen many times with her, a kind of perfunctory, he makes a half-hearted job of it, she doesn't seem to be particularly concerned about anything, and then at the end of the day, nothing really happens. And that's what's happened here, I think, over the last little while. Hello, Miss T. You're wondering about their lonesome nature here. How long will they be away from the pride? Well, it's impossible to say, Miss T, because it's very variable. They could be with the pride tomorrow. They could be with them in a few days' time. It really does depend on where the rest of the pride is, whether the rest of the pride has food, whether these chaps realize that the rest of the pride has food, so, that would sort of induce them to go towards the rest of the pride. But the male, remember, of course, is only going to go to the rest of the pride if there's mating or food in the offing. He's not going to go there just to say hello to them. And so his only motivation for trying to go all the way to Arathusa to join the rest of the Nukuhumas would be to get something to eat, not to check on how his little ones are doing. And I don't think, I think the drive for the females when they're in estrus is very strong, so I don't think she necessarily wants to rush across to be with the rest of the pride either at the moment. I think she's probably where she wants to be. There's nothing stopping her going with the rest of the pride, other than the fact that she wants to be with the male. He would just follow wherever she went. If she got up and moved off towards Arathusa, where the rest of the pride are, he would just get up and move with her. At the moment, moving seems to be the very, very last thing on their minds. And the other interesting thing, of course, is that he seems to have chased off the other males. Liz, you say you saw her limping once, and therefore perhaps there's some kind of disease she's picked up or injury that is preventing her from conceiving. No, Liz, I really don't think that's the case at all. These lions, the predators, or I mean, you often see the predators limping. They often have minor injuries in much the same way that a sportsman who engages in contact sports will have a problem like that. What they do is they tend to they lose, well, I mean, they get knocks and bashes from the games that they play. And I think it's just the same with the lions and the leopards. You know, when they're hunting, they take knocks. They run through this incredibly thick bush. There's no question that they're going to hit stumps, bash things, and then, of course, during the actual hunting, especially if you're hunting buffalo, they're going to get bashed every so often. So I think that's the only reason she was limping. She certainly looks in very good condition to me. She might have a bit of that white muscle disease, which of course caused by an extreme lack of vitamin E, which in turn apparently does not allow for the binding of selenium, which is a very important trace element that we as well need. Oh, look. There's some... That was very well done, VM. I'm afraid I threw you under the bus there. There were some Jacobin cuckoos, everyone. You've got vultures as well. Oh, there we go. So it's just got hot enough for the vultures to get going. So they're taking off. And interestingly, Amber Eyes became quite enthused by the fact that VM was leaping around. Look at her, she's half opened two of her eyes. Wonderful. High action here at the lion sighting. Overwhelmed, don't know where to look. Right, I'm pretty sure that that's enough of these lions. What do you think, Vim? Shall we give them 5 more minutes? We'll give them 5 more minutes. Now, I love this question because it opens up so much discussion, Andrea. You're wondering when or where, or sorry, not where, when it is that lionesses stop having cubs. Well, it depends where they live, really. If they live in a zoo where they're fed a good portion of donkey every week, then you'll probably find that they live to about 18 to 20 years at an outside maximum. And then out here, I think you'll probably find that 15 would be an extremely old lioness indeed. They will breed pretty much up until the day that they die, Andrea. They do not lose the ability to breed, and as soon as that happens, they get very old very quickly and they pop their clogs, as it were. So they don't have a menopausal period. Very few animals have a menopausal period. We're an obvious example of one that does. I think 1 or 2 of the other primates do, not all of them. And elephants are out here the most obvious example of an animal that has a menopausal period. And that, of course, you find in animals where there is mentorship required, where there is some kind of knowledge or teaching to be gained from older generations. You find that those older animals, or those animals, tend to live into old age. Whereas animals where teaching doesn't take place, lions, wonderful example of where, yes, a cub might be brought something that isn't quite dead yet, but once the cubs are independent, their adults play no further role in mentoring or teaching or anything, or security. And I think that's why you'll find that they are able to breed until they die, and conversely, they die as soon as they can't breed. So Amber Eyes, I think, if we look at her nose, is probably 6 years old now. See how her nose is almost completely black? Let's call her a 6-year-old. She's probably got another 7, 8 years or so. Yes, they really do not seem to be very enthused about doing anything other than lying in the sun, like recalcitrant teenagers. I suppose they are probably exhausted. Lion mating is a tiring time for them. Liam, shall we continue to find the great queen? I think so. Right, VM has had enough of these lions. I don't blame him. We're going to carry on. Oh, hang on a second, VM. Look, he's put his head up. There we go. He's put his head down again. Right. This excitement has become overwhelming, everybody, so we're going to head across to Jamie before I become totally flustered by everything and find out what she is trying to find.
So just next to that bush with a dark branch is the back of a male lion's head. This side. So that branch that you're looking at there is a male lion. Now that has to be one of the coalition, one of the Birmingham boys. This bush is just peppered with lions at the moment. It's incredible. Now, we're standing in the open, probably about 150 yards from him. The wind direction is not perfect, I'll be honest with you. But because it's blowing so hard, I don't think he's heard us. Now he's licking himself. Is he faced away from us or facing to us? Difficult to say. He's facing away from us. It's just incredible. We'll walk into lions here for months, and then all of a sudden in one day we get two. And now that is an absolute relaxed lion. You can see him busy licking himself, completely unaware of us out here. With lions, you want to keep wind direction and cover as paramount. Now, we've got wind direction slightly on our side here. I use a ash sock, or sock filled with ash bag, and you can see the wind is blowing across from us, and so very good. In actual fact, it's much better than I thought it was going to be quite honest. Now with male lions, you want to give them space. What you don't want to do with a male lion that's angry with you is hide away. You want to stand in the open. So where we are standing right now, this is the safest place for us to be with a male lion on foot, especially at the distances that we're talking about right here. If you were to follow your gut instinct, for instance, and go and hide behind a bush, in other words, go and hide behind there, and this male lion was trying to chase us away, there's every expectation that he would come right up into these bushes. They like to use cover to come at you. In this particular instance, he's in the open, we're in the open, and there's not much cover between us and him. We couldn't be safer from where we are now. Relatively speaking, we are of course standing 150 yards from a big male lion. Now I think let's get onto the Game Drive channel again and see if we can call whoever wants to come and have a view of this particular male lion in here. It's a fairly thick block, but I'm sure we'd be able to get them in along the same crest we've been following. Along the same crest we've been following. And I think what we're going to do while we get onto these Game Drive comms, or communications as we call it, these handhelds, and find out who's in this particular area, we're going to send you over to James and we'll get you back when somebody else is around. So it's not too much of a problem, as much as that sounds. We're constantly still checking wind direction. The wind is still blowing diagonally across from both of us, so there's no ways that unless he looks up at the right moment and we just make a small shift that he'll see us. But he's facing away from us. He's restless, he's not calm. He constantly stares at that mating pair, in the direction that that mating pair is lying. And I almost think that these male lions are probably in some or other type of subtle dominance display with one another. You probably find that that's what's going on. There's just this scent of estrus is in the air and it's become irresistible. And rather than patrolling their territory, they're just patrolling the females. And that's why he's just not settled. Cleaning himself, lying there, staring into the distance. He's not lying down like you'd expect a male lion to be this time of the day already. He's busy cleaning his paws now. You can see that dipping of the head as he licks. So yeah, just to get back into a discussion which I think is vitally important to have whenever we're on foot with animals like this. It's our goal and our aim not to bother these animals whatsoever, or to have as little impact on these animals as we can. Lions are incredibly sensitive to the environment, and they're almost a perfect gauge as to how close or far, or what your bush skills actually are like. Lions that jump away from you and run away panicked, you've made a mistake somewhere as a person approaching those animals. Either the wind direction is wrong, or you didn't notice what was the signs and the little telltales around the bush, or you weren't keeping your head up enough. But ideally, we don't want these animals to see us on foot. As little interaction as possible, with us observing them as much as we can. But also, my point is the fact that these lions can live in harmony with people. They're not just the killers that we all think they are. And that if you have respect and you have proper skill, humans and lions can absolutely coexist in harmony. I just find it a wonderful grounding moment being in close proximity to lions like this. According to Gendre's camera, we are 75 yards away from that male lion, so half the distance I thought we were at, which is a bit worrying, but anyway, at least a little bit closer than further away. Now, I'm told while we're waiting for Jamie that James has also bumped into something that we infrequently see here at Djuma, so we'll catch up with you in a little bit. This male lion's actually just stood up right now, and it's definitely the male lion with the injured foot. He's now coming a little bit closer to us, so what I want to do is just back up into an openish area. So Genre, we can back up a little bit. I just want to give space. Looks like he's laying down there actually. He was looking for some shade. He hasn't come out from behind that bush. Okay, so Genre saw with the aid of the camera, or you would have seen with the aid of the camera, that he's now laying down in the shade there, which is actually okay. So he still doesn't know we're here. Definitely can confirm it's a male lion with a big limp. I'm not actually sure which one it is. I don't see these animals all that often. With me being on foot, I don't get to spend as much time with these lions as I should. But I'm told that it's probably Tino that's got that big limp on one of his front legs. I hope that isn't too bad. They break their legs quite often, to be quite honest. Their little bones, they bite each other's legs. And so it's not uncommon to get a thorn, a porcupine quill, an injury from that was a francolin just having a bit of a panic. And what we've got to watch out for that is displacement sort of observation. That male lion looking up at the francolin, all of a sudden seeing us and getting a fright. But it doesn't look like he's done anything there. Still just lying down below there. I'm just going to see, Jamie is now close. Let's see if we can get Jamie in here. Jamie, Steph, when you get to the crest of those marulas, past the Hyena Road junction as central, just let me know.
Copy that, Steph. I'm here. I'm just standing by on the crest on Central Road.
Okay, copy. Then drive west in the marulas, in the marula belt. Just drive west towards the drainage line.
Okay, copy.
So we've got Jamie now on the radio. She's probably about 100 yards or so away from us. Now it becomes a triangulation mission. I'm trying to vector in Jamie to where we're standing, keeping an eye on the line to make sure he doesn't move away, while trying to figure out which road is closest to us, because we're standing right in the middle of a block between roads here. So it becomes an issue to do with basically just intuition really than anything else. I've asked Jamie to come down a line of marula trees. I'm hoping she's got the same marulas that I have, towards a drainage line. There's many drainage lines here. Perhaps Jamie doesn't know which one. And then obviously using compass bearings, that's west where the sun sets. So she was east of us. She needs to come west of where we are now. And then hopefully we'll be able to put you onto Jamie's car and you can go and have a closer look and perhaps see what's wrong with his leg. He hasn't moved there at all. Copy that. Jamie, I think come west off of the road towards Twin Dams Road, not towards Buffelshoek-Katlan.
Okay, copy.
All right, so we've, like I say, it becomes a bit of a mission in triangulation to try and get everybody in here, and at the same time keeping your eye open to see that you aren't being snuck upon by anything else. We've been on foot now in very close, relatively speaking, proximity to this lion for probably 20-25 minutes. I personally feel that the only reason why we've done that is because he's distracted by that mating pair, and we've got this really strong wind pushing between the two of us over here. I think if it was in any other circumstance, that male lion would have heard us already. Something in the bush would have alerted them. They have these abilities to sense things, changes in the bush around them. I would say that male lion probably and crocodile have about the biggest sort of peripheral sense and feeling about the bush around them. So I think we're in luck. Now, I'm going to send you over to James so that Jamie and I can chat on this thing. We'll catch up with you in a little bit.
I think we owe Steph all of the credit for that particular spot. And here is the male lion that Steph was with a few moments earlier on foot, hiding out in the shade of a buffalo thorn, looking thoroughly content and really rather beautiful on this morning. The sun slowly starting to come up, the temperature heating up. At first glance, it looks as though it might be Tino. I'm just waiting for him to relax a little bit, because obviously he was aware of Steph on foot and the rest of the bushwalk team, so he's been watching and glancing across in their direction. So I don't want him to feel pressured in any way, with a vehicle on one side and perhaps the bushwalk team walking away on the other. So we're just going to settle for now with this particular view, and then, yeah, the fact that he's turning his head suggests that he is a great deal more comfortable. When I first arrived, he was doing the head bob that all cats do when they first see you. And dogs don't do it, cats do. It's that sort of trying to get a different view. I don't know how to describe it. Very rapid head movement from side to side and up and down, just trying to get a good fix on whatever's moving. Now, he knew there were people there, but he wasn't quite sure exactly where they were, and he just wanted to make sure that they weren't trying to creep up on him. He has found his very comfortable spot for the morning. Hello, boy. Just want to see if he's going to do the head bob again. But I think that Steph and the rest of the bushwalk team are already on their way out. Still glancing in their direction, head's not completely down, so he's alert and aware of what's happening. I was hoping, not that it wouldn't be lovely to see Tino, and I'll have to get a little bit closer to confirm that it is him, but I was hoping that we might have a chance to see Nsugu or Nena, the two Birmingham boys that we hardly ever get to see. Hi, boy. It's okay. They're gone. I promise. They're on their way. It's amazing. We always talk about how animals' eyesight is not particularly good. It's not bad at all. And they're very geared towards movement. Any kind of motion immediately attracts their attention. So whilst it might not be as strong as their sense of hearing or their sense of smell, they can see better than I think sometimes we give them credit for. The only exception to that being rhino. Rhino cannot see very well at all. And buffalo are not fantastic either. They're sort of always blinking at you myopically, trying to work out what you're up to. I'm going to wait until he's stopped glancing in that direction. I'm sure that's where bushwalk team is moving off to. I'm just going to wait until we have a chance to reposition once he's relaxed a little bit more. Okay, I take that back. His eyes are closing, so I think that's our cue to go and get a slightly better view. Oh, hold on. Here we go, Rusty. Last time I saw Tino, he was limping a little bit, and he had a puncture wound on his face. Hello, boy. Here we go. It's all right. It's okay. You can see that slight lift to his lip That immediately tells us that it is in fact Tino. Here we go. There we go, boy. Oops, sorry, that was my fault. It was not Brian's camera work, that was entirely my fault. Hello, boy. There we go. Now we're a bit more relaxed. Now, the puncture wound was on the left side of his face, and it was bleeding a little bit, or weeping a little bit, and he was rubbing it constantly with his paw. It doesn't seem to be too much of a problem anymore. I can't see... Oh, there's a little bit of fresh blood there. So it might still be open. And they do often keep their own wounds open. They sort of, there we go, that's it. They rub at them with their paws and worry at them because, of course, it's discomforting for them. And they can't help but try and relieve some of that discomfort by rubbing up against it with their feet. Now, this is probably the way that Mfumo's injury started. Just a little puncture wound that he just got unlucky and it turned into a really nasty infection or cyst, which then came complete with maggots at one point. It's okay, boy. They're gone. He's still relatively relaxed. He's still completely relaxed. He's just alert and aware of what's going on around him. And hopefully we have a chance to see before the end of the sunrise safari whether or not his walk is any better. And a very good morning to Michael, who wants to know, because of course we spoke earlier about the nutritional dystrophy that occurred within the Nukuhumas. Michael, you wanted to know why is it, well, if they weren't getting the nutrition that they needed from the buffalo, why is it that they weren't varying their diet? It's an interesting one because it depends on the number of lions. Male lions often target buffalo because of their size, so it's a good meal for them. Whereas the females are targeting the buffalo because there's 5 of them plus 8, well, now 6 little cubs. So that's why they were targeting buffalo. They were also, yes, you're absolutely right, they were easy to catch because they're very thin and very weak. Sorry, very bright sun this morning. So they're quite thin and quite weak, which makes them easy for the lions to catch. And there are quite a few of them. The buffalo was sort of concentrated in an area, whereas the other animals have been slightly more spread out. Stay, Hat. The buffalo have been moving about quite a lot in big groups together around water holes. So it's been easy for the lions, and that's why they've been targeting them. It's also generally those are the, particularly with the size of the animals or the number of animals that we've been seeing, and particularly with the boys hanging out with the ladies as they have been. It's only recently that has stopped. It could also be that we're not seeing the smaller meals, although I don't think so. I just don't think that the lions have been eating anything else besides buffalo. But as I said at the start of the sunrise safari, they might have eaten an entire zebra last night, and we wouldn't have known. We wouldn't have been able to tell, because it would just be gone before we'd even had a chance to find it. And the only way we'd ever become aware of it is if we happen to encounter that carcass on foot. So it's possible they are targeting other prey items, and it's just because the buffalo are big that we're finding them. But I think it's more likely just that it's easier, and because there's lots of mouths to feed, it makes sense for them not to waste energy chasing something that is not going to be enough food for all of them. Now, speaking of things that might not be sufficient to feed as many lions as we've seen this morning, let's go see which antelopes. And what a fantastic lion-filled morning this has been. 3 separate lion sightings throughout the day. An exciting way to enjoy another bright sunny morning out here in Africa. And I'm sure you're all thrilled to have James and his quirky sense of humour, and Brian actually and his quirky sense of humour, back on our vehicles once again. Tino did get up and move, and he moved himself into a more dense area after he'd established that the bushwalk team were well and truly gone. And he's still limping. It's nothing serious, but he is still limping. It's uncomfortable. Hopefully that will heal up in the future. Sometimes lions, dominant male lions, have limps for the rest of their lives, and it's just something that happens with them. There might be something that is damaged in the joint. Chances are, though, he is going to heal up, just in the same way that the scar on the top of his lip has all but disappeared. But he is feeling, I think he's feeling a little sorry for himself this morning. Mfumo got the girl. He's got a whole load of bite wounds all over his legs and his face. He doesn't look as though he's had a meal recently. All in all, he's feeling a little bit, well, I'm saying he looks a little bit miserable. Might not be the case at all. He might actually be glad of the reprieve of lion and lion cubs and company. He might just be quite happy to be where he is, resting off in the shade. And it does mean some exciting prospects for this afternoon's sunset safari. They have found one of the other Birmingham boys on Cheetah Plains, which by process of elimination could only mean that it is Nena on Sugu. We'll be trundling along in that direction this afternoon to see whether or not we can't catch up with them, and maybe go off in search of poor baby wildebeest as well. Since the wildebeest on Djuma seem to be absent, I think it'd be quite nice to go and look for more signs of summer on Cheetah Plains. But unfortunately, as quick as a flash, or Flash Gordon, it seems as though the morning sunrise safari has come to its natural conclusion, and we'll be heading home to enjoy some of Amanda's amazing breakfast, and then shortly after that a first aid drill. I wonder what it shall be this morning. Will it be an imaginary snake bite, or possibly a goring by a buffalo, or possibly a car accident? Those are usually the three options that we go through. So we'll see which one of us gets to play the victim this time.